SSU Ram Nation asks, who are your top 5 Motown artists? And he gives his top 5. It's Diana Ross and the Supremes, Smokey, the Temps, Marvin, and Stevie. I can't fault this list. I mean, for me, as much as I respect Diana Ross and the Supremes, uh, Rick. See, man, this is where me being a Rick James stan kind of sort of clouds my judgment a little bit. Because my God, man, Rick was a hell of a musician. People always look at the craziness. People always look at the craziness of Rick, but they don't talk enough about the musicianship. I mean, I did a whole episode about Garden of Love because people really disrespected Garden of Love, but Garden of Love was an incredible ballad album from a dude who people didn't know could actually sing ballads. So this is my problem. I'm a Rick James stan, but I have to think objectively. So yes, I think WSSU Ram Nation's top 5 is probably the correct top 5. It's Diane and the Supremes. It's Smokey. It's the Temps. It's Marvin, and it's Stevie. I mean, if Michael Jackson Michael Jackson did record solo albums for Motown, but they weren't off the wall. They weren't Thriller. They weren't Bad. They weren't Dangerous. They weren't History. These were songs where Michael was singing to a rat. Yeah. We remember Ben saying, I mean, that's how you know Mike was a tortured kid singing a love song to a rat. But there was a movie called Ben too, so I mean, hey, was what it is. Yeah. Motown has an incredible history. That's what makes Motown so great. And they've been able, I mean, even though Motown, like the writer said, only exists in name these days, but if you go back to Motown's heyday, from the very beginning to, yeah, you could probably say around the mid 80s, Motown just had a way of finding themselves on the charts in every conceivable arena. They even had a rock group, a white rock group called Rare Earth. Like, they did everything. Berry Gordy was, the sound of Young America. It eventually became, in the Motown sound, eventually became a little, yeah, Boyz II Men was on Motown, but the writer said he only was doing stuff from 1959 to 1988. So that's why there's no Boyz II Men on this top 100. But yeah, Boyz II Men revived Motown. So did Johnny Gill, by the way. Let's not forget, Johnny Gill was on Motown. Johnny Gill's 1990 album is the start of 90s R&B. Don't let anybody tell you different. Don't let anybody lie to you about how big Johnny Gill's self-titled album was in 1990. That damn thing was everywhere. And I mean everywhere. You couldn't get away from Johnny Gill from 1990 to 1991, 92-ish. When you feel the magic in my hands when I touch. You couldn't get away from Johnny Gill. My. You could not get away from Johnny Gill, my good people. That album was everywhere. I ain't even talking about my favorite songs off of that album. I mean, Giving My All to You. That's my favorite song from Johnny Gill, but Feels So Much Better is another good one. Feels So Much Better is great. You know why? Because Karen White is singing backgrounds on that record. So yes, Motown had a life after 1988, but I think the writer was just trying to stick to the classic Motown sound. Let me get this writer's name right so I can stop saying the writer. Ben Forrest. I think Ben Forrest stuck to those first 30 years of Motown because those were the most impactful years. You had Marvin, you had the Supremes, you had Smokey and the Temps and the Four Tops, the Jackson 5, Martha Reeves and the Vandellas, the Marvelettes, so many others. Like, Motown is the greatest record label to ever exist. You can't debate that. You can try to debate it, but you can't debate that.